Design Builders likes to create unique outdoor spaces while challenging the limits of deck building. This is a walkthrough of how to frame a round deck and how to bend a decking board. First, you frame your deck in the traditional manner, but you allow the joist to run long. Then you'll create a template on a sheet of plywood that'll be used to mark the joists. Depending on the size and length of your radius, multiple pieces of plywood may be used. A string line, measuring tape, and a pencil are used to create a much larger compass to sketch the radius on the template. Once drawn, cut away and you have your template. After you have your template and the joists have been sketched, you can cut the joist to the appropriate length. When installing the outside rim joist or band board, we use 1x10 as opposed to 2x10 so that the boards can bend. We install 3 1x10 pieces of pressure-treated wood to create the thickness of a traditional rim joist. A high-power adhesive is best to use in between the 1x. Clamps can be used to keep the boards tight together while the glue dries. Continue around the outside of the deck until the entire perimeter has been defined. Use blocking where necessary to hold the radius. After the deck has been framed, you install decking in the traditional manner, starting outside of the deck and working your way towards the house. As you approach the rounded sections, you'll need to scribe the curve on the bottom of the deck boards and cut the curve into the deck as you go. Once all of the decking has been installed, it's time to bend some boards. Cellular PVC and composite boards can be bent. We recommend PVC because it's a low maintenance material. Composite boards should not be used for low maintenance applications. The HeatCon heat blanket must be used to bend PVC. The blanket ensures that the entire board is heated at the same temperature evenly. If the board is not heated throughout consistently, you'll face problems with bubbling and board expansion. The secret to making the HeatCon system work flawlessly is to wrap the blankets in fiberglass insulation. When using the HeatCon blanket on a deck, always put down a protective layer of plywood. Once the plywood is in place, roll out the bottom layer of insulation. On the top of the insulation, place both the bottom and top heat blanket. Roll an additional layer of insulation on top of the heat blanket to finish the setup. Turn on the HeatCon system and set the temperature to 275 degrees. The HeatCon system uses an extreme amount of power and requires 2 plugs. It's best to use 2 separate circuits if possible to avoid tripping the breaker. Once heated at 275 degrees, the heat blanket is ready for action. Place a single decking board on the bottom of the heating blankets, then put the top blanket on the deck board. Then conceal the HeatCon system with the top layer of fiberglass. Let the decking boards heat for 8 minutes. Remove the heat blankets and check that the decking board has been heated evenly. Remove the decking board and place into the template while the board cools. You'll have about 1 minute before the soft decking begins to cool and harden. Building round decks and bending deck boards is a very difficult and potentially dangerous application. Make sure to use a reputable and highly skilled carpenter for this process. Decks don't have to be square. Building around the deck helps add extra space while keeping the lines soft.